Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Simplykrystelle. Today's video is going to be my blush collection. I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of my blushes that I have, and I want to share with you guys the best blushes that work on my complexion. So if you want to see my small little blush collection, then just keep watching. Okay, so I thought I don't really have a system for this, but we'll just do it by brand. So I thought I would do my blush palettes first, and then we'll go into single blushes. So the first blush palette I want to share with you guys is this one right here. This is by Ace Beauty. It's the Blush in Paradise palette. I really love this blush palette because it has the berries, which I love berried blushes. I tend to go for more berry blushes, but lately I've been going more for coral. But I just love how it goes from, you know, darkest to lightest, and you can always mix these colors. Like for example, this one, I can never wear this one on its own, so what I do is I usually mix this one in with this color, or I mix it in with this one, and it just gives me a pretty mauve color. But I really love this blush palette. I actually got it in a BoxyCharm a while back, and I love this blush palette. It's really great for darker skin. It really complements our skin tone very well, and it's pigmented blushes, so they're really good pigmented, good quality blushes. The next blush palette that I wanted to share with you guys is by Jouer. I love Jouer. I love their aesthetic, and I just really like the brand a lot. And so this is the Bouquet d'Amour 6 shade blush palette, and this is what it looks like. Now these are so spring to me. These look like the perfect spring blushes that you would just wear during the springtime, and I absolutely love spring. I am a sucker for spring. I love it, and I just love this palette for spring. I think that this complements so many skin tones. And the thing I love about blush palettes, I always recommend people who are starting out in makeup to get blush palettes, because I feel like you have variety in one palette. You don't have to just stick to one shade. So for example, if I want to go orange one day, I can go orange. If I want to go more bright pink, I can go bright pink. If I want to go more subtle, I can take this shade and mix it in with something else. And that's the thing I like about blush palettes, is that they're so versatile. You're not stuck to one color. But I really love this blush palette. This is amazing for darker skin. I felt when I first purchased it, I was like, this is not going to work on my skin tone. This is way too light. But then after using it and seeing how pigmented these shades are, this works really amazing for darker skin. And the price point is a little bit, you know, on the pricier side, but you do get 6 blushes in one. So it's I think this runs for, I don't even remember how much I paid for this, but I think it was $30. So each blush would be $5. But this is a really great investment, and I really like this one. The other thing I want to mention is this blush duo from e.l.f. So this is a little mini blush duo. You get a blush and a highlight, and this is in Guava. Now this blush here, I did use it a while ago, and I will say I'm not a big fan of it. It's it doesn't show up on my skin. I don't know if it's just the shade that's wrong, because I thought it was going to be more corally, but it looks very powdery pink, and I'm not really a big fan of this blush here. It feels really nicely, but as you see, it kind of just melts into my skin. I love the bite-sized eyeshadows, so I thought that this would have been a great, you know, continuation of the line, the bite-sized line. That's why I picked up this blush, but this blush just doesn't work for me. I don't know, maybe I have to try another color, maybe something darker, but I really thought it was going to be more like a corally pink, and that's why I picked it up. But it doesn't unfortunately show on my face, and it's very powdery, and I'm not in love with this blush formula, but I do love the color that I thought it would be. So, but again, you can you know, if you have this and if you've used one of these and this has worked for you, please let me know in the comment section what you did and how it worked for you, because this does not work for me at all. So those are all my blush palettes and duos. I'm gonna go on to liquid blushes now. I don't have a lot of liquid blushes. I have 3 liquid blushes. So let's just get into it. So the first one is by Flower Beauty. This is the Flower Blush Balm, and this is in the shade Melon. This is again like a corally type of color. It is such a great blush, and it's also an amazing price. I think these went for $10. Like, I don't know the prices off the top of my head, but I really love the formula of these. I will say that it is a little more thicker. It's a thicker consistency like blush formula than other liquid blushes that I have, but it is an amazing blush, and it's very pigmented, and the shade is just so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. And yeah, so this one is really amazing. I want to pick up more from her balm line. Another liquid blush that I really do like as well, this is by Milani. This is the Cheek Kiss liquid blush. Now this is a new purchase for me. I just purchased it. I haven't used it a lot, but I have mine in a shade Rose Romance, and this is more of the mauve type of blush that I was telling you guys that I tend to go for. But I really love this formula, and I love the liquid blush. I am becoming more liquid and stick blush person as opposed to powder blushes, even though majority of my blushes are powder blushes, but I'm gravitating more towards like liquid blushes, putty blushes type of stuff, just because I feel like they look more like natural, and they look more glowy. They look more like they're coming from within the skin type of look. So I really am enjoying some liquid blushes. If you have any recommendations of liquid blushes, please let me know down below so I can check those out, because I really want to like 5 more liquid blushes. Now the other blush I have, this is by Tower 28. This is the Beach Please Happy Hour blush. I am a die-hard fan of this blush. This has to be one of my favorite blushes of all time. Out of my whole blush collection, I really gravitate towards this blush a lot. And this was like a random purchase. I remember I just saw it and I was like, oh, let me just test it out, let me try it out, and I fell in love with it. I don't have any blush in my collection that I love more than this blush right here. It's a mixture of like a liquid and a powder. It's like a putty type of consistency, and I use my finger because you just tap it in your face, but it's just such an amazing formula, and it's a beautiful color, and it's also just, I love the glow it gives my skin. Like, it gives my skin like a natural blush glow type of look, but it looks kind of like wet, and it's just so beautiful, and I really love this blush. I adore this blush. It is my favorite blush, and if you have not checked out the Tower 28 blushes, you are missing out, because these are amazing. And another blush that I have that is like kind of like like a mixture, it's not liquid but it's not powder. This is by Kaja. This is by the brand Kaja, and this is the Cheeky Stamp Blush in Saucy. I love this color. This color is gorgeous, and this is such a cute concept because what they do is they give you a shape, like a sponge in a shape, right? So this is a sponge in shape of a heart, and then you put it in the like spongy color, and then you just on your face, and it's just so cute, and I love these. I usually tend to like, I don't really use the sponge on top. I take a brush and just like blend it in, or I use my finger, but I really love these blushes by Kaja. These are really great blushes. They go on the skin so nice, and they look very natural on the skin, and it looks like a blush from within type of look. I'm a very like natural blush type of person. I don't like my blush to look powdery or cakey on my face. I like it to look very natural, as if it's part of my face. So this blush is really amazing. And another blush by Kaja that I do have is this here. I don't remember what this is called, the formula. I think this is the Mochi type of formula. Yes, so this is the Mochi Pop blush, and this is in the shade Spoils of Mars. Now this is more of a purpley berry blush, but it is really great. Like, if you touch it, when you touch it, it feels powdery, but it's not powdery. Like, it feels different than my powdery blushes. But it's not putty. It's like this, it's like a balm. There you go. It's like a balmy type of blush. Like, it has like a balm formula. So this feels very like a balm, and you can again use your fingers to apply it, or you can use a brush. But these are very pigmented. I mean, look at this color, you guys. This is such a pretty color. Like, it is just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Kaja, just like Tower 28, is another brand that I don't have a lot from this brand, but these are brands I definitely want to explore more of, and I want to test them out more because they look like very interesting brands and promising brands. And now we're ready for all of my powder blushes. I don't have like a ton of blushes. I have like, you know, like I feel like the normal amount. I don't know, like what's normal? I feel like now normal is like having like 100 of blushes, but I don't have all that. But anyways, so the first powder blush that I want to talk about is this one right here. This is by Ciate London, and this is the Marbled Light Dusk blush. I do not like this blush at all. I don't use this blush. I don't reach for it. I don't like it because, one, it looks like this. This is it right here. Where am I going with that? Where am I going with that blush? So this blush is not going to work for my skin tone at all. It looks like, it feels very nice. It feels like very finely milled. It doesn't feel like powdery or like cakey or anything, but it's just not the right color for me. So it's not going to work for me. But I'm sure people who, you know, who are lighter skin tone, this works for them. But I will say the packaging is very, very beautiful. Like, I love the silver, like the silver packaging, and I love the clasp that it has. It looks very like expensive. It has the mirror inside. I love that, and it just looks very like, classy, and I really like this packaging. Another powder blush that I have is from the brand Milani, and this is the Rose d'Oro Baked Powder Blush. So this blush is more so like a orangey type of blush. I mean, when I swatch it, it does look more like orangey peachy colored, and it does have little specks of glitter on it. I will say that with this blush, you do have to go kind of with a light hand because it can get a little too sheeny because it does have little glitter in it. So just be mindful when using this blush. Just don't go in with too much of a heavy hand, because I've made that mistake where I've used too much of a heavy hand and it looks like highlighter mixed with blush, and it just doesn't look right. But this is a very beautiful, beautiful blush. I really, really like this color because it takes me out of my comfort zone. It's a color that's different than I usually go for, and it does show up on darker skin, and this is amazing. This is very beautiful. I feel like oranges, corals, peach, those colors look so good on darker skin. So I wanted to, you know, go out of my comfort zone of the berries and just kind of like try something different. But I really, really do like this. This is a very, very soft highlight. Highlight blush. It's a very soft blush. It's not gonna be cakey. It's not splotchy. It blends in smoothly. You just need a little bit, because a little of this goes a long way, again with the specks of glitter. But this is a really great blush, and it is an amazing price. It is a drugstore, and you can't beat that. Another blush that I love, love, love from the drugstore is this one right here. This is the Essence Mosaic Blush. I was surprised that I actually like this blush because, like the Ciate one, I thought it was going to be like the Ciate one, but this blush is nothing like it. When you swirl your whole finger in it and you go like that, this is what it looks like here. This is the blush, right? It looks like this on my hand, but for whatever reason, when I get to my skin, like it darkens up, and that's because you can blend in the darker shades. Like there's shades in there that are a little darker, but this just works for me. I don't know, like it looks light on my hand, right? But it works. Like it's so weird because when it gets to my skin, it just looks really good when I put it on my skin. But like when you swatch it, like it looks powdery and it looks very light, but it's actually a very, very pigmented and very affordable, very cheap blush. I love Essence. Like I cannot talk about that brand more enough. Essence has to be one of my favorite drugstore brands because not only do they make great products, like they make some of my favorite setting powder, they make a highlight that I really love, but they have good quality. Like this blush, I didn't think it was going to work on my skin tone, but it really does, and it's a great formula. Another blush that I love at the drugstore is the J.Cat Love Struck Blush by, so this one, and this is in the shade Kitten Kisses. I love this color. Now this color is more like, I will say, it looks to me more like a melony type of pink, because these look like, you know, like baby soft pink. This is definitely a darker, like a reddish type of pink, but it is also very beautiful and also very affordable. Now all of these blushes here that I am talking about, I have used them a lot. I've tested them a lot, so it's not like I'm giving you guys a first impressions. I'm giving you guys like a in-depth review of all of these blushes because I've tried them all. But this blush is really, really beautiful, really gorgeous. It is a great color for darker skin. It works well, and I love the formula and I love the price because it's so affordable too. Next brush I have is my favorite blush at the drugstore, and this is by Wet n Wild. This is the Color Icon blush in Mellow Wine. I love this blush so much. This blush is just, to me, it's the perfect blush for my skin tone. It's like the perfect everyday natural blush. Like when you look at it, like look at this. Like I know the shades of my blushes are very similar, but there's just something about this blush that I love, and something about this blush that I really like. When I put it on my skin, when I put it on my face against my brown skin tone, it just looks really beautiful, and it just looks amazing, and it just looks so beautiful. And I really, really love this blush. And again, it's super affordable. So if you have not checked out those Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes, I would definitely test those out because they are amazing, amazing blushes, and very, very inexpensive, and just the quality is amazing. Again, Wet n Wild is one of those brands at the drugstore like that is amazing. Like drugstore makeup is one of, I think I prefer honestly drugstore over high-end, just because I feel like drugstore, you find some really, really good gems at the drugstore. You really do. And there's just some amazing products at the drugstore that I will never stop using because they're just that good. Next blush is by Too Faced. This is an old blush, but this is the Too Faced Love Flush Your Love Is King blush. This was my first blush purchase, and I remember when I only had this blush, I would use it all the time. I didn't use any other blushes because I didn't have any other blushes, but I really did like this blush a lot at one point. I don't really use it as much as I used to because I have so many other blushes, but I used to use this a lot, and I love the color of it. It is a very like pretty berry type of shade, I will say. Like it looks more like, you know, purpley berry colored, but it is a really nice blush, and it feels really good. It feels very soft. It feels very easy to blend, easy to work with. It's a very, very good blush, very easy blush. The next blush I have in my collection is by Bare Minerals. Now this was a mini sample that I got, and this is the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur blush in Mauve Sunrise. I don't use this blush as much as I used to use this blush, but whenever I use it, I really do like it. This is it right here. Let me see if it will focus. This is the blush right here, and it's like, again, like a mauve type of blush. It's more like on the purple side, but the thing I like about this is, just like the Kaja Mochi blush, this is more like a balmy type of blush. It's not super powdery. It's not powdery like the Wet n Wild blush or the Essence Mosaic blush. It's more like a balmy type of, a little bit putty type of blush. So it is a really, really great formula, but you can still use a brush with it. But it's a really great formula, and it's such a beautiful color. And again, on our skin tone, dark skin tone, it does show up very nicely and very naturally at that. You guys, I have 2 more brands of blushes to share with you guys, and then we'll be out of here. The next blushes are from Buxom, and these are the Wanderlust Primer Infused blushes. I have 2 shades of these. I have Guava and Mykonos. I purchased these mainly because Kathleen Lights was saying how these are really great blushes, but honestly guys, I am not in love with these blushes as much as she was. Like she really, you know, raved about them and said how they're amazing, and they're not bad blushes, but I don't reach for them as much. So this is Mykonos here, and then this is Goa. I don't reach for them as much as I used to. I don't know, I just don't think they're like amazing. Like they're not bad, but I'm not in love with them. Like I don't think like, oh my gosh, these blushes are the best. Like I don't, and I'm being honest, you know, like they're not bad blushes, but I would have, you know, saved my $26 and bought something else, to be honest, because I don't know, I have other blushes that I love way more. Like I feel like my Tower 28 blush, I love it more, I use it more, I use my J.Cat blush more, I use my Essence blush more, my Flower blush more, but these are still my collection. I just don't really reach for them. They're not bad. And now we are down to Kat Von D. Well, is it still her brand anymore? I know she doesn't own it. She sold it. So it's, I think it's KVD Vegan Beauty now. But anyways, these blushes are from KVD Beauty. And I have the shade Poppy. And I also have the shade Foxglove. Now what inspired me to buy these was this girl was doing a tutorial. She was like my skin tone. She was doing a tutorial. She was using Foxglove as an eyeshadow and a blush. And I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so gorgeous on her. So I decided to purchase them. And I really wanted to get Poppy because I was like, hey, it looks like more like orange and corally. And I'm trying to get more into those colors. So let me, you know, try to get out my comfort zone and pick a color that's I wouldn't normally pick, because I tend to go for colors like Foxglove, but I really want to give something different, like a try. But I really like these. These are, you know, standard powdered blushes. They are just, you know, powdery blushes, but they are so fine. Like when you rub your finger in them, they just feel so soft to the touch. And Poppy is more, I would say, like a reddish orangish type of blush, and then Foxglove I would say is like a standard like natural mauve color. But do you see how pigmented these blushes are, you guys? These blushes are so pigmented and they do show up very nicely on darker skin. Again, I wouldn't go with a heavy hand because you don't want it to look crazy. I would start slow and then build up, you know, the blush. But these are amazing blushes, and I definitely am planning on purchasing more of these in the future because these are really great blushes, and they are so pigmented and they're so soft. And even though they're a powdery formula, they're not like a dry powdered formula. Like it doesn't accentuate texture on the skin. It doesn't make your skin look like super textured or like rough and crackly. These blushes are really beautiful and they work amazing on darker skin. And the last blush, I actually said I had two more, but I have one more. So this is the last blush here, and this is by e.l.f. This is the blush Always Spicy. Now this blush I was contemplating because I was like, you know what, this blush looks to me more like a brown shade. So I was thinking like maybe I should start using this blush as a bronzer, because on me this blush it just runs a little brown, more brown than I like. It's a beautiful blush and I've used it obviously as blush because it is a blush, but I feel like maybe I can use it as like a bronzer topper, because when I use it as a blush I feel like it looks too brown, looks too warm. So but I do like the formula a lot. It feels very soft, it feels very fine, it feels very like just airy and very natural. But I really do love the formula. And again, e.l.f. amazing, affordable brand, not expensive, inexpensive brand, and you get a lot of amazing products. So yeah guys, that is it for my blush collection. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see like a lipstick collection or a foundation or concealer collection or anything of my makeup collections, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you are not already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.